The U.S. housing market has become an impossible mess. Americans with cheap loans don't want to sell. Those without homes can't afford to buy. It sometimes feels as if the U.S. housing market is in a never-ending affordability crisis, with prices continually rising and inventory shrinking. Now a whole new affordability crisis is beginning. And this time, there's no obvious way out. The Federal Reserve Bank's aggressive tightening since last year has driven the interest rate on a 30-year mortgage close to 8%, the highest point in almost a quarter century, adding some $1,100 to the monthly payment on a $400,000 loan. That might be manageable if higher rates led to lower prices. But the impact on supply is even more drastic because of the so-called lock-in effect. Homeowners are unwilling to let go of cheap mortgages they got when rates were scraping bottom. This has resulted in the least affordable housing market since the 1980s, with sales approaching record lows. Modestly cheaper loans would only unlock pent-up demand, sending prices even higher. The kind of economic collapse that might bring rates down faster would also make buying harder. And homebuilders are grappling with limited supplies of labor, land, and materials. These days, most existing mortgages are below 4%, roughly half the cost of a new 30-year loan. The large spread is likely to reduce the rate at which homeowners move by more than a quarter over the next decade, according to estimates from Julia Fonseca of the University of Illinois and Lulu of the University of Pennsylvania. The trend will mostly affect would-be buyers of their first homes, who will miss out on a key opportunity to use government-supported mortgages to build wealth. The worst of both worlds is when people are forced into holding patterns, says Nick Buttrick, a psychology professor at the University of Wisconsin at Madison, whose research has shown that lower residential mobility can dim a person's outlook on life. Policy solutions to solve the affordability crunch have so far focused on making things easier for purchasers. The Biden administration has implemented measures such as reducing mortgage insurance fees and providing down payment assistance to foster homeownership for minorities and first-time buyers sidelined by rising costs. But that only makes the central challenge of dwindling inventory worse by fueling more competition. An alternative approach would be to provide government incentives for owners to sell, especially investors renting out houses by the month or as nightly Airbnbs, according to Ralph McLaughlin, chief economist for House, a co-investment platform for homebuyers. This could be achieved by increasing taxes on rental income or opening up a temporary window for capital gains tax exemptions that might include full forgiveness on sales to first-time homebuyers. We just need to break the cycle, and this could potentially do that, McLaughlin says. Prognostications of the road back to pre-COVID normalcy vary dramatically. Lawrence Yun, chief economist at the National Association of Realtors, predicts the Fed will conquer inflation by the end of the year and that the mortgage market will price in future cuts before they happen. Lower rates will entice sellers, Yun says, unleashing a spurt of activity in the fourth quarter. Sellers will realize that super low mortgage rates aren't coming back, says Yun. They're going to say, I need to move on with my life. Many economists are less optimistic than Yun. The Mortgage Bankers Association is predicting a mild recession leading to lower interest rates and a recovery in transactions in 2025. And Moody's chief economist Mark Zandi says a normal, healthy market won't happen until 2028. The single-family housing market is in a deep freeze, he says. It will only thaw out painfully slowly.